Hello everybody and welcome to a train simulator video. Today we shall be driving the newly released Armstrong Powerhouse and Wagons Class 313 EMU from Welwyn Garden City to London at King's Cross. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to turn off the pause menu and we're going to open the doors by pressing T, and once that's done we can go into the cab. We need to turn on marker lights by pressing M, headlights by pressing H, and turn off the tail lights by pressing K. The next thing we need to do is hold down the F button and move the reverser into the forward position, and cancel the AWS by pressing Q. And we can now turn off the DRA by pressing Y, as the signal ahead is displaying a green aspect signal. We'll just go to the front of the train and check the destination indicator, and it hasn't been set up yet, so all we need to do is press F7 I think, or F8. I'll press F7, there we go, and we need to bring it all the way through to King's Cross. And there we go. So our train is now set up ready for departure. The last thing we also need to do is press Ctrl Shift and R. My control button on my keyboard's been a bit sticky. There we go, we got it to work eventually. Because this train is pathed as a driver only operated service, so we will be closing the doors by pressing R when the time comes. The 313 retails on the Armstrong Powerhouse website at £14.99, and it comes with 6 scenarios, 3 for the East Coast Main Line and 3 for the North London Line. As far as requirements go for the North London Line scenarios, you just need the route. And for the East Coast Main Line scenarios, you will need the Class 180 Adelante, which at the time of this recording is 50% off as part of the deal of the week. So if you need the Class 180 to make the scenarios run for this pack, then I highly recommend that you get it whilst it is still on sale, and then you can just save yourself about a few extra quid. The starting speed limit from Welwyn Garden City is 25 miles an hour, and we're just climbing up over the flyover here. Just going to bring more power to the train. Just going to cut the power off now. And because we're on a downwards gradient, I'm just going to keep an eye on the speed now, as we are increasing speed rather quickly. Just going to apply a little bit of braking. Speed limit is now 40 miles an hour, so I've just released the brakes. And I'm going to apply full power now, as the speed limit increases to 75 miles an hour, and this will be the maximum achievable speed for the journey. In any case, the maximum speed of the 313 is 75 miles an hour. And our first station stop is Hatfield. Just move the mouse out of the way. As we approach Hatfield, I'm now going to start applying the brakes. I'll put the train into a step 2 brake application. Just easing off the brakes now as we reach 30 miles an hour. And for some reason in the simulator, the platforms at this side of Hatfield are shorter than they are in real life. So we actually have to stop right down at the end of the platform rather than the 6-car stop mark. And here we are at Hatfield Station. Our next station stop will be Potter's Bar. So my first impressions of the Class 313, the cab is very nicely detailed. There's a couple of viewing angles, different viewing angles, and you can open the door for the cab, and you can open the window to get the external sounds. The external model is very nicely detailed. It uses high-res textures as well. And overall, it's the class. I had to play around with the Class 313 the night before, and on the whole, it is actually a very good, very nice unit to drive. The only thing is that the only things that could be improved upon, I think that the needles on the speedometer could do with a bit more lighting. You can see the numbers around the dials are all nicely. It's just the actual needle that could be brightened up a little bit. And also, I think the sounds of the traction motors are a little bit too synthesized. I think the pitch is just a slightly tad higher. They could be pitched lower down, but other than that, I still think it's worth the full price. With Armstrong Powerhouse and wagons, you know that you're going to get a very good unit. It's certainly much better than some of the stuff that Dovetail games churn out every single month. So we are just actually speeding a little bit there, so I'm just going to cut the power to the train. And we've just passed a warning board for a speed reduction down to 55 miles an hour, so I'm just going to put the train into a step 1 brake application, and that will bring us down nicely. The 313 has a good set of brakes on it. And the reason for this upcoming sudden drop, this sharp drop down to 55 is due to the sharp curves at this station, the name of which escapes me. Can now accelerate back up to 75 miles an hour. The Class 313 also has a very good horn, I like that, and they also like the AWS hooter as well. And this signal is showing a single yellow aspect, so I'm going to start slowing the train down a little bit. And start slowing it right down now to at least 20 miles an hour because I believe the Class 313 is fitted with TPWS. And the East Coast Main Line is one of very few routes in Train Simulator that has active TPWS installed. The other route being the Edinburgh-Glasgow route. So I'll just slow it down to 20 just in case. I think the grid's just before the platform here. And the starting aspect is at danger. So we'll just stop near to the end of the platform. Just open the doors now. See another 313 on the far side. The interior passenger model, the interior of the cars is very highly detailed. It's really high quality stuff. Now that it's time to depart, I'm just going to edge the train forward. Class 180 is just past us there. I think this red aspect is to allow a few fast trains to pass, so could be waiting here a while. This is the first time that I've played this scenario through. And it's just actually clear to a single amber, and we've got a 30-mile-an-hour speed restriction over the points. The speed limit is now increased to 115 miles an hour for express trains. Of course, our 313 will only be able to average around 75 miles an hour. Our next station stop is Finsbury Park, which is in about 9 miles' time. Just open up the window so you can hear the external sounds. I've actually got a double amber, so I'm just going to ease off the acceleration. Of course, the class 180 has not one passed in front of us, but that should speed up a little bit. So the next, so I'm expecting the next signal to be a green aspect. So I'll accelerate back up again. And I believe that signal has just cleared to a green aspect. I've been on the 313s a couple of times myself. One time I did do a run on the North London line, and this was during the transition between the 313s and the 378s. Just did a run from Gunnersbury to Highbury and Islington, I think. I think so. I think that's, it was a long time ago, but I definitely remember doing a ride on the 319 on the North. 313 on the North London line. I've also done the 313s on the Moorgate branch, but only from Highbury and again only from Highbury and Islington. I've spent more time around the class 315s on the Great Eastern Main Line. Because we've used them a few more times when I've been on holiday in London. I was probably the same amount of time thinking about it. I also last year did the class 507s and the 508s on the Merseyrail network, which are built to the similar sort of specifications as the 313 and the 50 and the 315, except that their third rail only the 507s and 508s only work on third rail. And I'm hoping to go back to the Merseyrail system again sometime this year, possibly when I'm off in during the first 2 weeks in October. But even then, I've still got a few trips planned out, and I've just passed some workmen there on the far side. Just going to bring the power down of the train as we are exceeding the maximum permitted running speed of the 313, which isn't too surprising in this game, because because most trains within the game will accelerate past their maximum permitted running speed. The maximum what the speed limit they're physically limited to in real life. And just ahead, it seems like we've got a cautionary aspect. Can't really tell because of the light. I've actually got a green aspect there. Just past Bounds Green Depot, which is used to stable the East Coast train fleet of Class 43s and Class 91s. Do apologise for the lag around this area. The East Coast Main Line, the London-based routes in Train Simulator are notoriously known for lag in the built-up areas, especially near the London termini. Just going to cut the power to the train now and get ready to slow down for our next stop at Finsbury Park. Finsbury Park. Just got an AWS warning for a drop in our speed to 80 miles an hour. Bringing the train down to about 30 miles an hour now. And we'll just stop it about here by the 3-car stop mark. Oh. And just open the doors again now. And do you have all the doors open? just past the warning board for for a further reduction in the speed limit down to 65 miles an hour. Our next and final stop will be King's Cross, platform number 8. Just going to cut the powers of a train, so we need to get ready to slow down for a further reduction down to 40 miles an hour. And our speed has now increased just up to 45 miles an hour. I'm just going to cut the power to the train now, as we are on a downwards gradient. Just got to watch the train speed now. Just going to slow the train right down now, as we are fast approaching our next speed drop down to 15 miles an hour. And at this point we're not going to get any further AWS magnets. The platforms at King's Cross are protected by TPWS. And as we get closer to the platforms we'll have to slow down to at least 10 miles an hour. Otherwise the train will trip and the emergency brakes will be automatically brought on. We are just speeding a little bit there because we are on a still, even though it doesn't look it, we are still on a slight downward gradient. So I know this has been a quite a short video on the 313, but I just thought I'd upload this and give you some initial brief thoughts about the train. Certainly I have enjoyed running this scenario, and I hope to be covering the other scenarios that come with this pack in due course, as well as of course doing a full and proper review of this unit at some point in the future. I could possibly do one ready for Christmas time, but I'll have to see when I'm available, see what work commitments I have to do, and also about see what trips, what other stuff I've got planned. My eventual aim is to do a full and proper review of this unit, like I've done with the Class 321. Which I'm actually very surprised at how well that review's done. So obviously that's encouraged me to make more videos like that, and possibly more for many years to come. And I should clarify that the Class 321 I reviewed was the Armstrong Powerhouse variant, not the Dovetail Games variant, because I don't have that model. Because the AP variant is more value for money. and the TPWS grids are actually just before the buffer stops here, so we're doing around 8 miles an hour. So I'm going to start slowing down to stop now. Just put a full service brake application to make sure we do stop. And here we are at King's Cross. So just going to hold F and turn the reverser into the off position. Apply the DRA, put the tail lights on, turn off the headlights, turn off the marker lights, and turn off the instrument lights as well, which is I, and we could also put the sun blind down. And here we are at King's Cross. So I'll just wait for the scenario to end. You can actually just put the destination indicator all the way to the end. And here we are. So I'll just move the camera down. And there we are, we've got scenario complete. So I'll just check and see how we did. We sped a couple of times there. And yeah, that was a very good scenario, so I really enjoyed driving that. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. And I hope to see you again with another train simulator video very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.